We've had multiple whistleblowers come to our office and tell us that they're being pressured to categorize cases as domestic terrorist threats that aren't. And I'm just wondering, because it was the opening of your statement, most of your statement, you talked about this new office you filled. Are you juicing the numbers?
So I'm not aware of the references you're making to the whistleblowers. What I can tell you is that the intelligence community has assessed that the threat we face from domestic violent extremism is elevated, and that's consistent with what I see on a daily basis.
Who is Timothy Thibault?
I'm sorry, I don't know that name.
You don't know that name? Mr. Grassley does. Mr. Grassley cited in his letter. Mr. Gates brought him up in his 5 minutes of questioning. Mr. Thibault's a guy who suppressed information that was verifiable about Hunter Biden in 2020. You don't know who this individual is?
I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
You know what's also interesting about this individual? He's the guy that the whistleblowers told us is pressuring them to recategorize the cases as domestic terrorism cases. And you don't know anything about him.
I do not.
All right, well, I guess that maybe stands a reason.
The Hunter Biden laptop fallout claims its first victim, which begs the question, is the FBI starting to crack under the growing scrutiny? We're going to take a look at the wacko leftist agent who got escorted out of the FBI building. We're going to see how more and more people, even leftists, are rising up against the FBI's now exposed cover-up. And make sure to stick with the very end of this video when I'll reveal why we may be witnessing the beginning of the dismantling of the administrative state like never before. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. It's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, helping to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. If you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And gang, make sure you click on that link below and visit the amazing Patriots over at Goldco. If you've got $50,000 or more in your IRA, 401k, or savings account, you need to protect those assets from bumbling Biden's economic insanity with the timeless value of gold and silver. Click on that link below and talk to our good friends over at Goldco. They're patriots just like us, and they want you to succeed so much that they're offering you up to $10,000 in free silver if you open up an account with them. But this is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Click on that link below or visit my special website, turleytalkslikesgold.com. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. It does appear that the fallout from the Hunter Biden laptop cover-up has indeed claimed its first victim. FBI Assistant Special Agent in charge at the Washington field office, Timothy Thibault, has been forced to tender his resignation in response to accusations of partisan bias in handling the investigation into Hunter Biden's laptop. Thibault was named specifically by Senate Judiciary Ranking Member Chuck Grassley in an August 17th letter to the feckless FBI Director Christopher Wray, you know, the guy who wastes your tax dollars by flying government planes to his vacation home. Yeah, that guy. Grassley noted that several whistleblowers had come out accusing Thibault and a number of other high-ranking officials of radical political bias in the handling of Hunter's laptop. And in many respects, you didn't even need the whistleblowers. All you had to do was look at this guy's social media profile. The eBook Times is reporting that Thibault shared a post on Twitter that called President Trump a, quote, psychologically broken, embittered, and deeply unhappy man. Other posts reportedly saw Thibault telling Liz Cheney that her father was a disgrace. Well, even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? And he reportedly liked a post on LinkedIn that claimed that Attorney General William Barr had gone rogue because of his review of a case against Trump's national security advisor, Michael Flynn. And I could tell you, gang, look, when I read this, right, I could tell you, just in terms of a little personal anecdote here, when I lived in Baltimore for a number of years, and I spent a lot of time among federal workers in D.C. that was just 40 minutes away, in Arlington, Chevy Chase, and like, I can tell you in full disclosure, they were all left-wing nuts. Every one of them. They were solid, down-the-line voting Democrats who saw every Republican as a threat to their job security, right? So when I'm reading this guy's social media profile, I'm just thinking this could have been a number of people that I met who worked in various federal agencies in D.C. They're literally all Democrats. And the one exception were, of course, those in the military. But with woke Millie and some of these others coming out, it looks like even that may have changed since then. So, as I'm sure you heard, Thibault was personally escorted out of the FBI office building by 2 other officials. Now, apparently that is standard procedure in an agency that has, of course, a high degree of classified materials. But it does underscore the fact that something is going on here. Are you noticing the emergence of what might be deemed a bit of a pattern here? We got Fauci announcing his departure, effective in December, right before, well, what do you know, right before the winners of the midterms take power. We got Zuckerberg admitting, he was astonishingly forthright about the FBI pressuring or basically ordering Facebook to shut down the Hunter Biden laptop story as Russian disinformation, which, again, they knew was a lie. The FBI knew that. With Republican after Republican coming out and promising investigative hearings on day 1 of their new majority to get to the bottom of what happened between the FBI and Facebook. So you have that. And now you got this FBI official in charge of the Hunter Biden laptop being forced to tender his resignation, all basically within a week of each other. I'm seeing a bit of a pattern here, especially given the fact that officials are telegraphing that Thibault is not the only one that will be losing his job in all of this. It does appear that the top brass of the FBI are starting to feel the heat in all of this, especially given the fact that the midterms promise a significant Republican majority who represent a constituency like us who want blood, and most particularly FBI blood. Every day, it seems we're learning more and more how the FBI actively attempted to cover up the Hunter Biden laptop story so as to inordinately influence the outcome of the 2020 election in bumbling Biden's favor. And that's exactly what we're beginning to see. We're seeing more and more congressmen and Republican leaders and even some media pundits begin to come out and say the quiet part out loud. If the Hunter Biden laptop story got the media coverage and scrutiny that it absolutely and unequivocally deserved, Joe Biden would not be president today. Even the buffoon pseudo-intellectual Sam Harris knew that. Talking about somebody who said the quiet part out loud. The last person on the planet that you want to share a secret with is Sam Harris. He's going to blabber that to anyone who condescends to actually listen to his drivel. And note, the people who are coming out and expressing their disgust and outrage at this FBI cover-up are not just Republicans or pro-Trump types. Even a staunch liberal like Bill Maher is freaking out over this. You're going to love this. And by the way, just as a reminder, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, you're invited to join me and hundreds of like-minded patriots in my exclusive Insiders Club live stream, where I answer your questions and we take deep dives into topics just like this for 90 minutes every single week. Just click on that link in the description below and sign up for less than the price of a cup of coffee per day. And I can't wait to see you live on Monday nights. All right, so check this out.
What they did, they buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course. You don't follow this.
Saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Well, then you would know about this.
I do know about that.
Well, you're acting like you know.
I do know about that, and I do watch Fox. But the point is, we're going to prove now that the press tried to.
They're admitting it.
The press is admitting it.
Yes, that's not even an issue anymore. They're saying, yes, we basically did this because we didn't want this to throw the election.
I love the way he roasts Rob Reiner, right? Meathead. You don't know this because you only watch MSNBC. By the way, that's an interesting commentary, because you're seeing there how even the left is embarrassed by the woke nonsense that passes for news on that horrid channel, MSNBC. In the course of the discussion, Maher went on to say that there's no way around this. The Democrats, in his words, can't pussyfoot around this. Hunter Biden wasn't just hanging out with underage foreign hookers and smoking crack. He was selling the influence of his father, the Vice President Joe Biden, And I would add that there's significant evidence on that laptop that Biden himself was fully aware of what Hunter was doing and fully compliant and cooperative with what Hunter was doing, especially when it came to foreign and particularly Chinese CCP-owned companies. There was no way Biden would have survived a bombshell like that politically. And that is precisely why upper level, the FBI, decided to cover up the story and enlist the help of social media oligarchs like Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey to guarantee that the story would be buried. And so it appears that the genie's out of the bottle on this one. More and more pundits are coming out and expressing their utter outrage and disgust that a bunch of unelected and unaccountable deep state bureaucrats would have the gall to directly interfere with a fair and free election. And what this outrage is doing is it's setting the stage for what's been called the dismantling of the administrative state. And this has been a top priority of Steve Bannon's and continues to be. The cracking down and breaking up, particularly the FBI, and farming out its functions to other investigative agencies in Washington that haven't been compromised and corroded by far-left partisan allegiances. So all this means that with the outing of a top agent like Thibault, we may indeed be seeing the FBI cracking here. Time will tell. But as the midterms approach, we can be absolutely sure that the spotlight on the nefarious and dubious practices going on in our three-letter agencies is only going to intensify. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. And you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on bumbling Biden getting embarrassed once again by yet another spectacular backfire. You're going to love this one. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.